Good afternoon, good evening, and good morning for anybody tuning in with us on this mildly nice Sunday. Had a good breakfast and everything. Honestly, I don't want to go to work, but I got to. But anywho, in this video today, we're actually doing our top 10 Spider-Man who deserve an animated movie, or at least their own spin-off after they finish Miles Morales' third movie when it comes out. I know we're in the middle of a writer's strike and an actor strike. I support them 100%.
I don't blame them at all.
I don't either. But whenever they're done and they get exactly what they deserve, we just got this list that we need to get out there. Because I know they're going to have a ton of ideas when they come back and they get to do the things they want to do and not because the company says so. Don't get me wrong. I know companies are like having their moments with hit or miss movies.
Pricks.
But if it wasn't for the writers, directors, and the actors themselves, these companies wouldn't be companies today. So, I also wanted to do this too because at the making of this video, today is specifically, I believe, the 2nd or 3rd of September. I haven't looked at the calendar lately. And we basically almost have a month and some change left until Spider-Man 2 hits the shelves and I get my pre-order that I got, and I got the collector's edition. I know, mildly dumb, but I did it anyway, and it was worth it. So for me, I'm doing this for this game, and I'm also doing it too because I can't wait to get Across the Spider-Verse in my hands because it's going to be soon. They already got the Flash on the shelves, so eventually Spider-Man is going to be on the shelves. I know neither of them two movies correlate well with each other or in general, but you know, just to throw it out there. So the first 3, I'm gonna just throw them out there already because we're gonna do 10. I'm doing the first 3: Miguel O'Hara, Jessica Drew, and Gwen Stacy. All 3 of them already deserve their own movie. Gwen already deserved it the moment I saw her on the first movie, but in the second movie, knowing she was like that iffy friend, I know a lot of people want to defend her. That's okay, but she still did Miles just a tad bit dirty. She already earned her movie just from being in the first one. Miguel O'Hara really does deserve his own. I want to see some more of my boy 2099. It could be a prequel. It could be a continuation of his story. I don't care. He's already one of the top 10 Spider-Man in all of Spider-Man comic books to read. So I'm not really hurt. Plus, I want some more diversity. I'm not mad about how they did the movie. I agree happily how they did the movie. Just to give him his own spinoff just adds more to the cake. Now, Jessica Drew, I know a lot of us are like, I don't know why they made her black, blah, blah, blah. I don't care, man. I really don't. She's in the movie. It don't matter. And guess what? She's pregnant. That's all I need to have. I don't really care what color. Shoot, she could have been blue. I don't care. I don't care. I'm glad she was there. We got a strong female representation other than just Gwen, and not trying to be wrong or nothing. And I know we had Penny as well. We also had other female Spider-Women, but nobody left as much of a big impact as she did. So, at this point, we should already be bypassing that. I'm just letting y'all know if it ever comes up again. And for the 4th, that's the hard part. When we get after the first 3, is where it gets a little hard. For me, I'm throwing up Ben Reilly's Spider-Man. Well, not Spider-Man, but Scarlet Spider, the first one officially, and the also sensational Spider-Man. Now, I know a lot of us by now have seen my Ben Reilly video where I know he said it was a clone. He was a second clone officially, but the first one to become Scarlet Spider, like his own Spider-Man. And he's Kane's brother, and basically he's also Peter Parker's brother. He accepted him like a brother, but he also has some good storylines that he had from the 80s and 90s that really could be good for on-screen purposes. It could be game-wise, it could be movie-wise, I don't care. But if they throw up an animated movie for him, hopefully it'll be between like these 3, I would say: the Clone Saga, the Web Warriors, and most importantly, Maximum Carnage. Now look, that's one of his best books, and I even got that book from my brother for Christmas, I believe. I kind of regret giving him that book because I really wanted to read that book, but it's okay. He got his gift. I'm cool with it. Number 5, I'm throwing up Spider-Man Noir. Just because I wanted to hear more Nicolas Cage. I love Nicolas Cage being Spider-Man Noir. He fits so well. And the way he kind of portrays his character, given the fact he's kind of in the dark, moody-ish type thing, and this, I believe his story takes place, I believe, after World War One or before World War Two. I can't remember.
It's around the time that, the United States are pretty much still burning out the process and where we are right now. But considering that fact, if we get inspired a war, I just want everything to be black and white with the shades of gray.
Yeah, for real, because they already kind of gave you a glimpse of that when you're watching Doctor Strange's Multiverse of Madness, or MOM for everybody's shortness of acronyms. He was jumping in between universes, and he jumped through Spider-Man Noir's universe, giving that 50s nostalgia. And I actually love that nostalgia. It just, how do I explain this without being so weird? Like, it just brings back some old school features that probably would be amazing for the new school to adapt and upgrade to. Like, just imagine if you walk around in them suits. Give it like a 2099, well, not 2099. Think of it as like Batman Beyond, when they started like wearing suits, but then they implemented them suits later in life. Because at one point they said in Batman Beyond, the suits used to wear cufflinks and have buttons on the shirts and jackets. But they were like, what if in the future they got rid of cufflinks? They stopped wearing the buttons. They were just like these V-shaped type shirts and vests. Stuff like that. Us newbies could probably throw up and be like, oh, this is just the style for today, but with some old flair. Like, I could get behind that. But for Spider-Man Noir specifically, I want to see that nostalgia like in full force, black and white. And I hate to say this. No, I don't. I know a lot of people don't want me to say this, but I would prefer to see him when he was like kind of a killer versus him being like old full-blown Peter Parker with the code. Because some things are amazing takes on characters when they start getting out of their own shells. And I don't hate to say this at all. I'm gonna stop saying that. I know most people don't want me to say this, but there are some characters who do deserve a bullet, and the way Spider-Man Noir went about it, I don't blame him. His uncle got eaten alive by the Vulture. I don't blame him at all for trying to put a bullet in the Vulture's head. I would have done it if that was my uncle. I'm not gonna lie. So it would be cool to see that take on Peter Parker, in my opinion. And while we're at it, number 6 is Superior Spider-Man. Which is gonna kill me because that's one of my favorite Spider-Men, and I've talked about him constantly over and over and over because I really do like that iteration of Spider-Man. One of his villains actually won for once. It didn't last long, but he still won. It was kind of like how Doctor Doom took over the entire multiverse using the Infinity Gauntlet and the Odin Force and all this stuff, and he won for so long, and nobody understood how he won. You have to go back and read the books. I haven't read that book either. I was just seeing the story from clips and stuff. So I'm admitting that I don't know nothing about the story. I just know Doom won for so long. It took versions of all these characters to try and beat him, and it took Black Panther and Mr. Fantastic to do it. So, but with Superior Spider-Man, Doctor Strange won. Oh my God. Dr. Octopus won. I am so sorry.
Doc Ock.
Doc Ock won. He changed everything about Peter. He murdered certain villains. He messed around with Mary Jane, and he didn't even do it for long. I think he even kind of threw Mary Jane to the side. He said F the Avengers, darn near flicked off Captain America and left. Made his own company as Peter Parker, and then set up his lair in the raft so he could keep a watchful eye on all the criminals. And not to mention, some of them he upgraded their cells. And I was like, geez, this man was actually thinking on a bigger scale than Peter could ever do. But at the same time, Peter probably thought about it, but he saw that it was like against human rights and all that stuff. So I kind of don't blame Peter Parker for not going a little ham on Instagram with some of these characters. But if they were to do this version, it would be so awesome. Plus, remember, they did mention that you don't see all the Spider-Men because there are some that are evil or twisted. And I think for movie purposes, they wanted to, I don't know if they wanted to, but I think they left Superior Spider-Man out on purpose since he's considered one of them evil type. But in the books, though, he let all that go because he wanted to save all these other versions of Peter. But I don't know what to say. And while we're on these type of Spider-Men that don't mind killing, I think number 7 I got is Assassin Spider-Man. His story is short in the books, but you kind of catch on really quick. I believe either Gwen Stacy or Mary Jane died, and Spider-Man killed the person who murdered them. He went to Wolverine to be trained, and he also who else teach them? I think it was Wolverine and Black Widow. I can't remember, but I remember him taking lessons under Wolverine, and he changed his outfit. He changed his weapons. His web shooters have bullets in them now. And I'm like, dang, that's pretty awesome. Then the Inheritors invaded. They killed Wolverine. They burnt him down to the bone. He ain't healing back from that. He joined up with the Spiderverse, and he went ahead and started helping murk all these Inheritors. And Superior Spider-Man liked him and Spider-Woman from the Old Man Logan series. He liked them because they didn't mind killing, and they knew eventually that they would have to kill a couple people. So he was one of the favorites of Superior Spider-Man. I threw him on here because I wanted to see more of him. There was not a single book with him in it except Spider-Geddon and the Web Warriors, and I'm like, geez, give Assassin Spider-Man his solo. He deserved it. I like him. He was in the books for a very short time, but I liked him. The next one I got is Silk, and Silk is hard for me because I haven't read much with her. She's always been like a guest character. I know she has her own series right now that takes place during and after the Spider-Verse, but I haven't read much on the character. I just know about how her and Peter were bit by the same exact spider. Her and Peter cannot stop mating with each other every time they get close, and they have a deep sexual connection with each other. That's pretty much it. They are good friends, though, in terms of being spider people in the spider community, or whatever you want to call it. And she helps him a lot in the Spider-Verse series and the Spider-Geddon series. That's all I know. I'm not trying to be harsh to the character or wrong to the character, but that is all I know at the moment on this character. I want more on this character. I want to know more. I want to love her. See what happens, to see where they can take her. If they give her solo, cool. I'm cool with that. It could be that, or it could be like, say, a dynamic duo type movie, since Peter found her in a bunker before the Inheritors ever came around. So you're like, I don't know. She really deserves to be up there. She has an interesting background, I was told. So I want to see more on the character. Now at number 9, I got Penny Parker. Just because also she was in the first movie, I felt like she already deserved her own outing, or to get her own spinoff. Plus, according to a lot of people who read more Spider-Man comics than me, her origin story is one of the darkest in all of Spider-Man comics or Spider-Man media. Her dad was the first spider wielder of the Gundam robot that they made, but they made a copy of that one just in case either his bloodline was killed or if anybody wasn't worthy of using that robot, and they made a Venom version of it. But the problem was, if you use this robot, it would absorb your essence in order to function. And I'm like, oh man, this sounds dope, but it sounds so dark. So that means if I'm using the Venom Symbiote Gundam, I'm getting absorbed by him in order to function.
And the thing about it, she really experienced that crap at the age of 12 or 13 years old.
That's crazy, because I haven't read that book. I was shown clips of it, and I want to read it so badly. And I believe it's called The Edge of the Spider-Verse. This is one of the ones that I haven't read yet, because I have the Edge of the Spider-Verse comic, but it ain't on her. It's on Peter Porker, or Spider-Woman / Spider-Bitch, I'm sorry, from the Old Man Logan series. And who else did I get? Spider-Monkey? Yeah, as well. And some of these Spider-Men already have their own solo series. I didn't know that till later. So it was kind of funny looking up all these type of Spider-Men or Spider-People and finding out some of them had their own books and I never got to them. Now, I also found out too, most of their books will never be on the comic book shelves. You have to get them off the internet, which saddens me. Because you know how rare it is to go in the store now to grab a Ghost Rider book for Johnny Blaze, but all you see is Robbie Reyes. It ain't on the shelf. But back on topic, I want to see more on this character, and if her story is that dark, maybe it would give us an interesting take on a female lead character, not just because she was once a side character, but because she held her own against such a deadly opponent of their own making with her own skill set. And I would like to see it. It would be interesting. Bypass the fact she's also a Japanese version of Spider-Man. I just like anime stuff. I don't care. So this would be a great take. What in the world? Oh, well.
Don't worry about it.
And look, finally at number 10, and I know a lot of people might kill me for this because I put her so low. I put Spider-Girl, as in Mayday Parker, Peter Parker's daughter, at the end of the list. Only because ever since the movies came out, I had a bigger impact from them than I actually did reading the book. I had the book way before the movies came out. And I love Mayday Parker just being, in general, Peter Parker's literal legacy, because he has a daughter and a son. He named his daughter after his auntie. Her maiden name was Mayday. And he named his son Benjamin Parker. I'm surprised Mary Jane let that stand, but oh well, it's okay. I'm glad at least some people are willing to honor their fallen or honor their family as in that way. And given how Mary Jane is in her other iterations, I'm surprised she actually let that happen. But hey, I've been surprised before. My brother also has her main books. I have not read a single Mayday Parker book. The only version of her I know is from the Spiderverse in general, and I know that version is from the 90s where she has her own series, her own spin-off series. I need to get on that. And yes, there are a lot of Spider-Man books I have not read. I'm sorry, y'all. I got a life. All of us got lives. We can only do so much. But
hell, my back is hurting from getting out the bed.
Exactly. Look, just sitting here doing this video, I still know I have to go to work after this. But anywho, Mayday Parker is Peter Parker's daughter. She actually has her own suit, which is her father's, that she found in the closet. But the one she wears specifically that we all know and love is the sensational Spider-Man suit. Peter had that suit stuffed in the basement, and he really kept the suit because he loved Ben like a brother. And when he was killed by the Green Goblin, he never tossed his suit out or anything. He kept it as a reminder saying that every Spider-Man has their own fate, their own destiny. They write their own stories, and eventually the mantle has to be passed. So he gave her his brother's suit as a tribute for her to continue the legacy. Because think about it, somebody running around in your suit, somebody's gonna be wondering if either they're the daughter of that Spider-Man or, you know, such and such and such forth. So he gave her Ben's suit to also throw off suspicion, but also to let her stand out as her own character. And she's been done pretty well. She's worked alongside a couple of old some of the old cast characters, I would say, from the Marvel Universe. Like, she's worked with the old version of Daredevil, the Punisher, such and such forth. She's worked alongside the daughter of Silver Sable and a couple of other people. But all in all, her character isn't really bad. It's actually a very good iteration of a female protagonist as Peter Parker's replacement. Not trying to be wrong to him or her either. Mary Jane is actually a pretty decent mom in this series. She really didn't want Mayday to become Spider-Girl. Peter was iffy about it at first, but he was on MJ's side at some point. But when school came around and she was hanging out with her friends and all this stuff, it started to change his mind because the way she was still trying to keep everything balanced. None of it really affected her outgoing life at the time. So I think Peter just gave her a little bit too much leeway, but it worked in her favor at the end of the day. She's still a great Spider character. And then in the Spider-Verse, sadly, her dad had sacrificed himself to save her and her brother. Her boyfriend almost was sacrificed too, because he went inside to save Peter, but the only person he could save was Mary Jane. Other than that, that's where her story kind of diverges from her series to the Spider-Verse. I haven't read any more on the character, and I know she probably has some books today, like in this time period, that are really good. And I was told she also makes an appearance back in Spider-Geddon. So I have a lot to catch up on. But anyway, that's our top 10 Spider-Man who deserve their own movies, or at least should give an animated shot. Because this is one of the ones where I say if Marvel and Sony were to do it smart, they could give all these different Spider-Man a movie. They would be making bank every single year they dropped one.
And speaking of Spider-Man, please keep in mind this is our personal opinion and what we think that deserves the spotlight. Whether it was a solo movie or pretty much more market targeting that type of deal with cosmetic comic books. Because barely people know these characters besides the top 3. So
yeah, she has a point. Like, certain Spider-Man stand out so hard and so wide, they kind of overshadow others. You can see all the ones you saw in Across the Spider-Verse. How many of them can you name that actually has their own book series, their own movies, their own games? You don't really have that many. Everybody is still another version of Peter Parker.
Yep.
But some of them in their own way have managed to stand out to where they can have their own series their own books, their own games, their own movies, their own comics. There's only like 5 to 7 of them I can name them right now that ain't Peter Parker, or that's not a clone of Peter Parker. I get it. Spider-Man is number 1. Peter Parker is forever number 1. I will never say nothing bad about Peter. But I do understand that diversity for some reason today is key. And that's not a bad thing, because it gives us different versions of these characters that may amplify or a little bit change the way Peter Parker can think. Because the key to human redemption is cooperation. And if you can cooperate with everybody, you have no idea how far you're willing to go to improve.
You hear that, companies? You hear that?
Okay.
There's a reason why the strike is going on.
All right. They got it. If they do hear this, cool. If not, it is what it is. But at the end of the day, I would love for Sony and Marvel to come to an understanding and see if they can get this animation thing going. Because if they do, they can beat DC at their own game right now. Because DC owns all the animated stuff. They have neck and neck in animated TV shows. But when it comes to animated movies, they got Marvel beat. I'm gonna make a video on that a little later about how Marvel could probably outweigh DC in their own way.
And I'm still pissed at DC what they're doing to Henry Cavill and Ben Affleck.
I agree. Because look, we only got one more movie coming out now for DC, and it's Aquaman. And after that, that's it. Everything else is James Gunn. But I'm gonna leave that to a video for another day. I'm gonna do a one for Marvel, and I'm gonna get that going later. But you guys let us know what you want in the comments down below, or you could probably hit us up on Instagram. It don't matter. But I'll let you guys have a nice, pleasantful Sunday, and y'all have a good day. We'll catch you later, Websters.
See ya.